Hello and welcome to another coaching video, and in this one we have a gold Kha'Zix versus a gold Nunu. Don't see a lot of Nunus these days, although the champion still is and always will be fine. Not strong and OP, but fine. We have, I think, past the days when Nunu was kind of patrolling up and down the river and totally dominating everything. Nevertheless, Kha'Zix is one of these meta champions that are pretty good at the moment. We have a Fury in the mid lane here. Not actually getting buffed, well, no one thought she was getting buffed. She was meant to be nerfed, actually. Not being nerfed next patch, actually, because win rate has stabilized. We have here a little excursion from the Kha'Zix and the Singe to deep ward the Nunu. Now, did you need that deep ward to see that Nunu was being leashed? No, but it does help you kind of make, decisions a little bit sooner than you otherwise would. But, it's, for me, I would prefer to put that a little later in the river to watch for level 2s. You know what I mean? Like, if you're Singed, you kind of want one here, mid lane, you can put one there in theory, but most of the time you're going to have a Nunu start down here and level 2 bot lane or do some kind of shenanigans in the mid lane. So for me as a jungler, I would try and put that ward in the river as late as possible such that I can still reach my chosen starting buff just to take away one side of the cheese gang coin. And we can see that the Nunu is going for the 3 camp or 1 quadrant. There you go. I like this a lot. I like this a lot from the Nunu. Hello, Nefiri! I chase you down! Come here, dog! Whoa! EU drifting. Just kidding, no real. EU drifting over the wall. But the flash E. There you go. That's what you follow up with. Come on. Come on. There you go. You understand the pain of being a jungler. I understand the pain of being the jungler. I've been there too. So I created the solution, all-encompassing jungle courses that gave you the relevant information that you could use to climb each tier. And so for Split 2 of Season 13, I'm launching an easy way to have all the courses to address the issues you're having in your current MMR, to make improving as a jungler even faster than it's ever been, and to give more value and information than I've ever done in one simple place. Your new place for jungle growth and jungle diffing. And then give you a whole bunch of other stuff like free jungle cheat sheets, a custom-made video just for the jungle club every single week, open Q&As every single week, patch rundowns, free coaching twice a week for anyone who wants to join the room. I've been the go-to jungle YouTuber since 2017. I've coached thousands of clients. I'm a qualified teacher with 15 years experience. I know how to make a course, and I know how to make junglers convert from low elo to gold to emerald to diamond to master plus. If you want to climb faster than anybody you know, jungle diff every game you play, head to virkayu.gg, click on jungle course memberships and sign up to reach your true potential. Did Kennen need to flash? It's kind of close with new champions. I think you pay that respect a little bit, like that respect flash. I don't know if it will kill me guaranteed with that Q, but let me just flash and make sure I don't. Always better to think that way. Kha'Zix in the meantime now will cross down here, and we know that the Nunu has done the blue side, and again, from the Nunu's perspective, I love this a lot. If you're not gonna cheese gank this or level 2 gank this anywhere else, across the map, do your quadrant. See the action in the trade, just cut right in, right? We saw the Volibear in the coaching video, the last one, same thing. He did a little bit of chasing here, a little bit unfortunate, but he finished the quadrant, was crossing over to the side, sees action, cuts in. It's such a powerful thing, and why on the main channel I spoke about why the red side quadrant is the best clear. Now, blue is fine, but it's about the AoE of the camps, the accessibility of the camps, the red buff giving you so much of what it does, even in its nerf state, and the flexibility to cut off frequent junglers' goals of ganking bot lane. In this case, you could gank top lane and cut off a jungler who starts down here, who's going up. You could cut that gank off. Had it in a coaching session today. And of course, we'll talk about this in the coaching class once I'm finished recording this. So this kind of stuff, the quadrants, very important. Blue, okay, on certain champs like Mundos and Nunus, it's fine, but the AoE of the red side, the flexibility it gives you is so big. So just to go back a few seconds, because we see the Nunu, that was weird. We see the Nunu go to the Raptors, right? We know this. The Kha'Zix has done his 5 camper now, and sees the Kennen, who has flashed. If he was F-King, he was paying attention to this. We know the Kennen flashed back out to survive. We also can see from the blue team's perspective that a ward has been placed. So you watch this from blue team's perspective, and Kha'Zix is like, yeah, man, I've done the 5 camper, I'm gonna go for this. Now, Kennen just doesn't see this I don't know what he's looking at. He logged into OnlyFans or something, because that is so obvious. And I like the fact that the Kha'Zix actually full on commits to this, knowing that the Kennen has nothing, no flash. And Nunu, in the meantime, doesn't even think about it. Right, which is why I say when you get these ganks off for your mid laners, just shove with them until they explicitly say, I'm gonna rage quit if you keep pushing, then listen to them and they dig their own bed. But the idea is like, look, let's shove, protect the Kennen from the Kha'Zix potentially, try and deny the Nefiri, and at least the guy gets to go back thinking it's all great, right? Like that's the most important thing here. It's a psychological battle as well. Kha'Zix is moving deep within, and for me, this ain't so good either, because we know that the Nunu started topside, we know he cut in here, we know he's going down here, we know he's going to take this now. He showed level 3, he had double buffs, we know with 20 CS that's a 5 camper. And the problem is, a lot of the times when great ganks are had, and laners are super duper low and the wave's pushing towards them, they greed under turret and they greed kind of hanging around when they should basically just say, look, I can reset and maybe lose a few CS, but the wave will be in a great position for a repeat gank, or I can hang around and try and thin it out and deal with it, but then the jungler could gap close and kill me, which is exactly what Kha'Zix does. Now, we do know that the Nunu will be on the bottom side here. It's 450. It's maybe not expected that he will be down there, but there's the flash from the Neferi. Well, not the flash, dash, excuse me. The dash from the Neferi. All these champions, all this mobility, man. I'm used to playing things like Volibear and Ornn, who has a, you know, I guess it's a dash. It's not really, is it? It's so damn slow. Zyra, I don't have mobility in my kit, so I have to anticipate everybody else's. Now, let's just pause for a second because we're getting ahead of ourselves. Nunu does this, cuts and does this, falls back down to this. So we know when we as Kha'Zix do the 5 camper, run across and get the gank off, go top side. Nunu doesn't show up. He must still be on the bottom side. Now, given the timer of the gank, I would be thinking out loud here, you know, as I go out of base to Grump, why? Because I know Nunu should, in theory, be going to the top side. Like, in theory, he should be done with his business and off he should go, right? From our perspective. He should be taking this and he should go. But if we look at to see what he was actually doing this whole time, right? We do the gank, delays him quite heavily, 313, 314. So if you imagine, so we see the Kha'Zix here, we see the ward get placed from Nunu's perspective, we've done the Krugs, we're going into the river now. Because of the ganking tempo and the ganking timer of the Nunu, in theory he could just go straight back to base now, but we know there's a possibility he wants to take our Grump. I'm okay with that. Because I would have not placed the ward here, I would have placed it here, right, to track this. So I would see that he hasn't arrived top lane yet, which means you know he's busy doing stuff. Second spawn, second spawn, second spawn. Potential counter jungling if he stays out and ganks bot lane, right? Those are the options we have to us as the Kha'Zix, and now we would see him go mid lane, obviously. Neferi will now get the dash over the wall, there we go. And the Nunu is going top side here, hopefully not looking for a scuttle. Why does this work? Why does this work so much? I'm so confused at why this always works. No! No! Oh my god. Oh no. Oh dear me. Okay, I had a bit of a short circuit. So the Kha'Zix now does his Grump, comes down here, we see the Nunu, he's still got his rep buff. We can track the CS, 28, full clear plus scuttle, and he also ganked, and now he's ganking this way. Press tap, no itemization purchased, which means he's gonna either go back to base or go back down, do this quadrant, and then reset. This gives us the ability, if we're fast enough to do the dragon, should we have prio in these lanes, but we don't. So let's just go translate that to a free gank on the cannon at the 5-minute 34 wave, because he's halfway to 6. 5:30 to 6 minutes in this elo, you're going to see people start to ding 6 in the solo lanes, depending on randomness and trades and back timers and deaths. Let's get this cannon killed pre-level 6 right now because we know Nunu's up here, no purchase. We know he's on a full clear. We know that his Raptors are not up. We know that the red is not up. Now the Raptors are going to spawn as a byproduct of randomness for the Kha'Zix. So this is not some savant level counter jungling, right? Because the regular respawn timer for this camp, if you go blue, Grump, Wolves, Raptors, will be 420-ish, 435 to 445. 455 to 505, sometimes 510. But because he ganked, it's going to be way later. So this timer doesn't mean much anymore in this particular game state. And because we know the Nunu has done all of those things, let's just gank the cannon here a little bit, try to get the Neferi back into it, do a bit of chunkings. And, oh wait, are we actually going to do it? Yeah, I'm glad we're doing it, but what a waste of time, right? Now, I want you to imagine, because in theory this is possible, as we miss out W, the mid laner hits level 6 as you go for this now because of that delay, right? So don't results base the fact that he's level 5. I'm really happy with the gank. I'm really happy with it. I like it a lot. No. Where are we going, ladies and gentlemen? Where do we think we're going right now? What is this excursion? We're level 4. Nunu went back to base. Raven is now caught out. Why are we benefiting from this? Oh, goodness gracious. This is not one of those games where... This is one of those games where you put in a coaching session and the guy's like, see, coach? I know, good. And I'm like... well, I'm happy you're getting kills and based upon where you are geographically, like you're making the right decisions. But it's like, hey, I was in Australia during the summer, so I went to the beach. Good job, but why were you in Australia in the first place? You should not have been. You should have been somewhere else, and which would make it winter, you know, in Europe and NA and things like this. So it's really funny. Regardless, the lack of tracking from the Kha'Zix is concerning. I don't like that we just went for the Grump blindly. All right, we know the Nunu's going to be on the bottom side. We know in theory he should either gank or reset, and he chooses to gank mid lane, go top side. Okay, so we see that visually from the Kha'Zix's perspective. Then we go on an excursion of counter jungling that shouldn't exist. But I like the fact that we translated it to a gank, and I kind of like that we look to go bot lane for the gank. That's all okay, but it's now 7 minutes and we're level 4. Now there's better ways to, you know, optimize your experience and things like that. And going topside here, potentially looking for a cutoff, maybe a rotation, then you could gank mid here, and then you could cut across, right? So instead of going out of base to the Grump, if you take these two camps, yeah, you can still gank mid lane exactly the same way while shadowing the potential Nunu, who might show bot lane. Sure, he might take your level 1 Grump, but if he does that, I take his level 4 Grump. Better for me. Do that gank here. Because it takes you a little longer to do this camp, and go mid lane, this would have spawned. This will be shortly spawning thereafter, and you can still have the gank at the bottom side, but then you can fall back to this and this, right? If they're available. Does it make sense? And, you know, in another world, if you're not the champion, maybe a dragon. So we did compromise ourselves a little bit, but he did play well given where he was, yeah? Good gank in the mid lane, as I said, I'm glad that was seen. Even if we were looking for red buff unnecessarily, I'm really glad that that gank was noticed, right? And then acted upon. And then I'm glad we took the fact that Nunu was topside and resetting to go and gank the bot lane. Like, that's good mentality overall to have. Now we see the waffling, okay, do I go to my Wolves and Grump? Do I go to my Krugs? And that's the problem with this MMR range. You always leave one camp available in a quadrant for no reason, and it causes you decision-making distortion down the line, like you see right here. So, like, look, we're just trailing, right? We're not dictating, we're trailing, and it looked like we might have been in control early, but we weren't really that much in control. However, we're now just going to go blindly to a dragon. Hopefully not. Are we just repositioning with an E, or are we thinking deeply about this? Now, would you want to do this dragon if you look at your bot lane here? We look at the gold 311 Caitlyn. Itemization in pocket, not terrible, but at the same time, you walked across. Vision! You can't do this! Look, watch. You can't do this. Na. You're seen. And you didn't scan this whole environment. You have no idea on approach. That's why you scan on approach. Because if you're seen on approach, you know you're going to be seen when you arrive. And if you're seen on approach, you know you're not going to go for it because they saw you approach. Yeah? So just silly optimization for dragons. I don't like this, and I don't know why Platinum Gold players keep this low elo tendency of just going for dragons, right? It just doesn't make sense. I don't care what happens in this fight. Like, this fight is totally irrelevant to me. I don't care if we win it. I don't care if we get the dragon. I don't care whatever randomness happens. The decision-making in the moment from mid lane should not have lent us to this dragon whatsoever. Shouldn't have happened. And now you're seeing they get the dragon, right? We're all dead. And now we look at the gold amount. We have 3.3k gold at 9 minutes. Same as a Nunu. But we're an assassin, a higher econ assassin with first strike, looking to get ahead in life. And our mid lane is 2.5 to Cannon's 3.3. Not happy about anything that just happened. So, I like that we took the dragon, stole the dragon, went for the blue buff. Cool. Kha'Zix obviously had his red plus Raptors when he shut up with plus 8 CS next time, which means he's going to have nowhere else to go. He has to go bottom side. And the Nunu didn't factor in the lane states, and, you know, I don't know. I don't know. You have to have measured aggression, but you also, as a Kha'Zix, have to learn when to give things up. Any jungler, when to give things up is the most important thing, right? Absolutely the most important thing you can do in this game. Hey, whatever's going on down here, can I rotate and impact it? No? Okay. Can I do the dragon otherwise? No? Okay, cool. And I don't like the way we went red into the Raptors. Like, you should just be going boom, boom, boom. Like, quick sequence, cut the quadrant out. If something happens, you can't do anything, go do some counter jungling. Can we gank top lane? No, but then it's 8 minutes, I'll do the Herald while they're doing the dragon. That's fine. Like, you've got to be snappy about these decisions and not always trail the things that are happening on the map, right? if you're a Warwick, a Hecarim, a highly mobile champion, sure, you can definitely afford to do that more so than others. But it's okay to give things up. It's okay to give things up and just say, look, I can't contest that right now. I'm not very strong because of some mistakes, and I'm just going to focus a little bit of farm and strategically gank when I'm level 6. And if something's happening on the bottom side, I'll just do the top laner. And then I'll do the Herald. Cool. Now, then I can go back to base and go back to the bottom side. Now you look at this and you're saying, okay, here's Kennen, here's Bard, here's Nunu. There's us two. Like, you look at this. I don't care what's happening again. Neferi's in a compromised position. Lux is in the middle of the river. Bard throws the ult, which means you know he's rotating over. Hello, Brood. Brood, Brad, and Doot. I combined them. There you go. Brooding support. We have here 2 people, right? Singe is now moving on down, but then Kennen shows up. Like, you know that Neferi is dead here. We don't need to move over. We see Draven shoving in the Caitlyn. Lux and Caitlyn need to 2v1 these people. What we need to do is control our camps right now, okay? We need to just do our camps, get some experience back, or sneak away the Herald, but I do foresee them going for the Herald afterwards. So I would just do Krog's Raptors and kind of go, look, if they ditch and everyone runs away, then I'll go do the Herald. I'll get a freebie, but I need to just get my own econ while I observe this, right? Do my Krogs, you're dead. Do this, can I do anything here? Here, no, okay, so I'll do some camps. And then have a look afterwards, right? Then have a look afterwards to see what you can do outward. And having that measured approach, we call it measured aggression, right? We're not telling you to be passive, but you're level 6 and Nasus is level 9. And you have no HP. So what exactly are you hoping to accomplish? This Kha'Zix has just trailed everything the whole game, and the best decision he made was to cut his clear into 5 camper, get the kill on the cannon who disrespected it, and even then you can argue, like, should he have done that just because of the vision control? And the unknown of the fact that, hey, Cannon could just leave. At any point, if Cannon sees you, he just runs away. And then you're screwed. And you know Nunu's on the bottom side. And that's what you're trying to avoid when you're the jungler. So again, that was a bit of a calculated look, 50-50. Guys, 1 HP in the turret. I know gold players are not going to be looking at it, so I'm going to go for it. Cool. Take the top scuttle. Ward the guy's Grom. Now you can just go back to base. Now you see the Nunu, you know he's going to be on the bottom side. You see him going to the mid lane. You have these respawning. Can we 2v2 this? Singe, Nasus, Nunu, Kha'Zix, right? Or whatever your matchups may be. Seriously, don't interrupt it. Don't interrupt it. Problem is we don't have Prior in the mid lane. Nasus is level 10. And Cannon's a big annoyance when it comes to doing these heralds. What are you going to do now? You're just walking into the jungle. No tracking. No measured tracking. No paying attention to lane Prior. I don't think that's... run away, bug. Run away. We've just completely... Like with 2-1-3, we have 63 CS like a Nunu has 62 CS. But that isn't a good thing, right? It's not a good thing to have the same CS as a tank jungler, as a Nunu. We fall back now to our red and Raptors, which should already be done. Again, it's okay to gather data before you make an executive decision about something. Look, I don't like the way the map looks. No top, no prio, mid, no prio. I see Nunu on this. I think I'll give it up. Why is it important? Because at this particular stage, if he's going back to base when you hit the plant, and then you do this, and then cut across and do this stuff, what this enables you to do is kind of understand that this guy's going back to base without doing the Herald, but by the time he gets there to do it, it's going to be quite fine and close to 14 minutes. So if I'm feeling a bit behind or like I need to step on my own econ, then I'm okay, again, giving this up and doing some counter juggling. Maybe I can kill the Draven. Look, Caitlyn already took this turret. What else can we do on the map? But we keep running into fights with the mid laner, with the jungler. You're not even going to rewind that. You just keep taking fights that you don't need to take. You're not going to win games by permanently fighting. You will win games that when good or bad things happen, you know what to do afterwards. If good things happen and you're ahead, then we can fight. I'm happy if the enemy chooses to fight me when I have a lead. But if we have the deficit, we have shutdowns, I'm probably not going to want to go for those fights. Now again, you're looking at the gold lead and you're thinking, but we have the lead. Yeah, Caitlyn has the lead. Guys, Caitlyn. Like 1200 gold down on the Nunu. I wanted to rewind here because the Bard killed the Lux while I was saying that. So, you know, we don't... The Caitlyn has the lead. We don't. So play around the Caitlyn. Snowball the Caitlyn. I mean, cool. We take them apples for sure. Yep. Caitlyn's dominating. So if Nunu wants to go take the Herald, and we've already taken 5 plates here, and it's too close to 14 to call it, I would love to help the Caitlyn a little bit more, get some counter juggling done. Basically, I like measured aggression, which means picking the right moments to gank. I'd rather you have 5 really good, well-timed ganks, and during the moments when you can't really fight because you're behind, or you need those camps to scale up so you can take the actual meaningful fight, then that's great. If you're taking 10 ganks for the sake of it because you feel like you need to do something and having 5 success out of 10, it's the same thing, right? So you might as well have 5 out of 5 success rate on your ganks because you chose good moments to do them at the right time based upon your tracking and farming versus having 5 out of 10. And then the 5 out of 10 that you missed, right? Instead of doing that, you're farming. So your econ is better. And of course, don't force those dragons, man. Like right now we're doing this dragon again, forcing it. You know, Nunu overcommits, which is great. We're thinking, okay, great, like, nice. But now why are we trading with the cannon? Once Nunu's dead, we can be on it. So, a lot of reactivity, no proactivity, big issue in this MMR range. No jungle denial through excellent tracking. And even though we had a solid early, again, like it was solid, we just didn't track the Nunu to optimize it, which is great, that's one step. But then after that, we just kept pathing and chasing and following and forcing things, and it adds up big time. Big time. Now, we've got a really, really fair bot lane, and I don't recall us going to snowball this in any direction. Now, in theory, they should move around the map instead of staying bot lane, right? But it's also because no one's helping them kind of do something. If you shadowed them a lot, or maybe 2-3 times while Nunu was topside, and just gave this up willingly, you could maybe push this with Caitlyn. Like, you take all of this, you join her down here, you shove it, you start hitting this, they're forced to rotate. Now you say, Caitlyn, come, let's go mid lane. You can lead them, especially ADCs who are fed. But if you don't know what you're doing, how do you expect her to know what they're doing? Because I see this a lot. Junglers like this Kha'Zix will say, Caitlyn's fed, she didn't help us, she's not defending. Well, you're not doing what you should be doing either. Well, Nefari's playing as I would expect most Nefaris to play. Truthfully, I don't find the champion that great. Honestly, she's just going to be a simple stack check champion. Which is a bit unfortunate, but it is that way. Now we have no vision control, they're just shoving it down mid lane. Singed is mentally not in the game, and Caitlyn didn't use her lead at all. So if you're the Caitlyn in this situation, that's not how you do it, right? That's not what you want to do if you're Caitlyn. You want to move around the map, but as Kha'Zix, you want to enable her to move around the map. Now this guy's being shilling, waiting for some cash money gold. Nothing happens for the next couple minutes, and it looks like he truly went AFK, and that's fine. So Kha'Zix was never going to win this game with the AFK Singed, and now put yourself in this position. You go to Discord or Reddit, Twitter, and you say, I lost this game because Singed AFK'd. You could have 4v5'd this game with this Caitlyn. This Caitlyn was so fed that if you did your job, you could have 4v5'd this. Would it have been difficult? Yes. But could you have done it? Also, yes. But the most important thing is you don't want to ever come out of a game like this and say, we lost because Singed AFK'd. Right? You want to say, we lost because I didn't do things perfectly. Now, if you were as fed as Caitlyn, and you were both popping off, and it just became too difficult because it was a close game, and the 5-man team just beat you down, at least you tried, and then you can say, yes, I lost because of the AFK. And again, 60-20-20. 60% of the games you play, you will have control and determine the outcome. 20% of the games are write-offs, complete doomed AFKs, trolls, whatever, things like that. This is one of them, right? You want this to be one of them. But there's also 20% of the games where you play terribly but make one good play and you win, or you play super duper well and you make one big mistake and you lose. That's what carrying is, and that does happen. But for this game, to really quantify as what I just described, you have to be popping off, right? You can't kind of just blame it de facto and say, ugh. And of course, most likely you're going to lose this game. But at least you can say it's 100% because of the Singed, right? So mentally reframe these kinds of games when you have them. You always want to lose a 4v5 because the guy AFK'd. Not because the guy AFK'd and we had a huge deficit across the map except for one person. Caitlyn can say we lost because of the AFK, but you can also say we lost because my team wasn't really doing anything, right? So it all stitches together, and even in these games, that's why I kept going, is because there's always something to learn, right? The AFK, everything before the AFK, what could we have done better? And that's how you approach your own VOD reviews. Thank you very much for watching. Virkayu for all the good extra stuff, and as always, I will see you all in the next one.